Okay, we're live and we're recording our podcast, Video Marketing Madness. We're live on the Hangout. And today is Review Videos Best Practices. Ray's wearing a blue shirt. It's lovely. Oh, shoot. I almost said something else. Didn't mean to shut that off. Okay. There we go. Okay, now. So I'm ready anytime you are to start recording.
Excellent.
How's my hair look?
Like hair.
You like the sign?
Like Buddy Jack Roberts' wig.
It's a little thin on top. I was watching the podcast last week where I had to plug the thing in, and I was going like this, and I went, "Whoa, man!" Male pattern, male pattern baldness. Okay, let's get started. All right. Okay, we are recording the audio, and Ray, go ahead and begin in 3, 2, 1.
This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by Aweber. Aweber is the easy way to start doing your email marketing. Build a list, deliver your newsletter, and all that other fun marketing stuff you do through emails. You can start today by heading on over to raythevideoguy.com/Aweber, and you can even start for $1. So there you go. Pretty fun stuff. And on today's show, we're going to talk about doing review videos and how you can make that into a business, which should be a lot of fun.
And this is where the jingle goes. I'll go ahead and sing the jingle.
Do, 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 do. I found the rap version.
For his shirt. No, okay. Anyhow,
I did find the rap version, by the way.
Did you? Okay, good. We'll have to use that.
I don't remember where I put it now, but I did find it.
You did find it. That was epic.
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. It's the radio show about Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. 3, 2. Maybe I should just read it. I had a senior moment. 3, 2, 1. It's the radio show about Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Our Facebook page is Video Marketing Madness. Our Twitter is Video MKT Madness, and there you will find plenty of useful tips posted throughout the day. Now you know him, you love him. Here he is, Ray Lane.
Yes, indeed. So, Steve, when you were 8 years old, how many millions of dollars did you make?
1.
One? Well, you are still behind an 8-year-old who made $1.3 million last year doing review videos of toys.
No kidding.
Oh, it's totally true. Now, you may well, actually, you didn't go to Vid Summit last year, but at Vid Summit, we had a few guests that were there talking about how they were making money on YouTube, and there was a set of twins, and their mom did hair braiding videos for them, reviewed how to do certain types of braids and fix your hair a certain way with these two young girls. And I mean, they made a fortune, out of doing that. And I think we talked a little bit about that last week.
We did. In fact, I've watched those videos, and I'm going to start applying that to my hair.
Absolutely. I think you should. There's definitely some good ones there. But the point being is that, believe it or not, doing little tutorials and review videos is a huge market. And many of you may remember there was a person a couple of years ago, they did a lot of stories about them. They did open box videos of Disney products.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And just made millions, in that year just from YouTube ads. So you've got all these people doing this. So I thought it would be appropriate to talk a little bit about these types of things, these open box videos, review videos, tutorial videos, because, that's essentially what I do. I certainly don't make $1.8 million doing that. But,
you review a lot of the products that you sell. You do a video on it, and that's very helpful. Now, I do want to say when I was 8 years old, I was selling Grit. It was a newspaper, door to door.
Nice. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, and of course, I grew up in a small town, so I'd just knock on the door and they'd open it up. And Stevie, what are you doing here? I'm selling grit. Okay, I'll buy it.
Nice. Well, that's fun. Hey, kids got to have those paper routes. We don't have kids with paper routes these days. It's kind of
No,
sad.
no.
In fact, my dad, who's a retiree, he actually delivers papers.
Does he? Yeah, yeah.
He gets up at 4 a.m. and drives around and gets his coffee and just delivers newspapers in the morning and then goes to work.
That wouldn't be so bad. My we were talking before the show started. My daughter goes to college in a small town north of Lincoln, Nebraska. And there's just not a lot of jobs in that little town. And there's a college of 2,000 students there, and they're all vying for the same jobs. She looked at a paper route with the Lincoln Journal-Star. But the problem is she had to get up at like 2 a.m. or something. That's kind of tough on a college student who's going to bed at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That is the issue usually. But yeah, my dad loves it. My mom hates it. She wishes he would stop.
That's why he's doing it.
But no, he likes to go out there and do it, and just drives around a little bit and
sure.
Delivers papers and makes a little bit of money. Not much, but
well, us old guys can't sleep anyhow. So
that's exactly it. He just enjoys doing it. He meets people and has some fun with it. But
sure.
So hey, the point being is that when you're 8 years old, you can make a living just making review videos. You don't have to have a paper route anymore. And as this one particular child has shown, not too hard to do. I'm sure he had his dad's help, but
sure.
The point being is that that's quite a bit of money for young Evan to bring in simply from doing review videos. So the question is, of course, how can you get a slice of this pie? Well, I think there's a lot of ways we can do that. When it comes to reviews and tutorials and open box videos, I think the biggest thing is we need to be able to get the right niche for this. You don't want to be opening Disney, Disney dolls one day and doing a Photoshop tutorial the next. You definitely want to get into a groove and come up with something that you can do that hits a certain audience, and then just take that to the furthest level. Now, in my case, for instance, I review video and marketing related products that come out. So as a new product comes out, whether it's a new animation studio, or it's a new video editor, or some new emailing program, those are the types of things that I will review. And like I said, I'm not doing $1.3 million with these reviews, but doing pretty well with them.
No, yeah, and why? Yeah, I mean, you're doing good. Well, let me ask you a question about Evan, and I forgive me for interrupting, but he's making $1.3 million. Is that off of AdSense, or is it AdSense and endorsements?
As far as I know, and that's a great question. He's negotiated deals with brands, so I know the brands are paying them. So I think it's probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
So he's got a little bit going on there, but either way, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Pretty darn incredible.
He's already done so much better than Bernie Sanders did age 40.
And he's learned to comb his hair.
Yeah, he's learned to comb his hair. He's not living in a house with a dirt floor.
Oh, boy. Here we go. We're going to get hate mail now. That's Video MKT Madness on Twitter. You can send your hate mail and
Steve Sleeper, Omaha, Nebraska.
But the point being is we can all do this, and it's not overly difficult. Whether you want to do software reviews or physical product reviews, it doesn't take a whole lot. A lot of people seem to think, oh, well, I need certain cameras, or I need certain microphones, or I need certain thises or that's. Really, what you just need is you need motivation. You just need to get up and do it. If you've got your iPhone, you can get started today, whether it's to review, products that you pick up at Staples, or, whatever it happens to be, whatever you like. Could be baseball cards. I mean, who knows? But you got to pick a niche, and you got to go for it, and you've got to take the action. And some of the videos that you can make with this, you could do open box videos, just like we see with the Disney people, which is, You know, you get a new product. When the new iPhone comes out, there are a lot of people that make good money simply by doing I got the iPhone first, and here's me opening the box. People watch that. It sounds crazy, but people watch it. They want to see that. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, that's why companies like Apple spend so much money on their packaging. They actually have people that test the opening a package. You know, is it exciting to open the package? Well, the creating a video and watching people open the package is part of that same psychology. So doing open box videos are a very good way to be able to do that. Now, another direction is, of course, software. And this is where I typically come in because I'll do screen captures showing off software. So, for instance, this week, there was a new product that came out called Vidgeos, which is an explainer video creation tool and an animation tool that does animated texts and backgrounds and, you know, very, very cool software. But what I was able to do is show people how it works, actually let them see it in action and create things with it and actually have them over the shoulder watching me create these things. And it's made a big difference in sales. It really has helped people to understand what it is and probably more importantly, what it isn't, so they can make an informed decision about whether it's the right product for them. And it is, trust me, check it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good product. But little plug there. That's a shameless plug. We need to have one of those little shameless plug drop-ins that we can put into the show here.
There you go.
Do something like that. But no, I mean, honestly, it's a great way to be able to get your message out there is by simply putting together these types of review videos, or in this case, what I call sneak peek videos of the inside of a product. Very similar to open box, except you don't have a box. You literally have a product. Same goes for trainings. You know, if somebody has a new training product, you can actually go without giving away. You don't want to give away what's in the training, but you can certainly go in and show them what's there so that they know what they're getting when they finally get to the product itself. It's very helpful for them, and it can be very lucrative for you. And then, of course, when we talk about training, you can actually do training videos. Now, this could be, for instance, we've done a series on iMovie. And this was back going a couple years. It was just a training series on iMovie. It showed you how to do this, how to do that, how to do green screen, how to do this type of editing, how to bring your footage in, how to export your footage. You know, all these different step by step by step. And all I did was put them on YouTube and link to the App Store so that when people decided to buy iMovie, I would get a little tiny bit of money. Worked very, very well. Mm-hmm. Done the same thing with Photoshop. With Photoshop, it was mostly about building a list. And we would build a list by teaching certain things, mostly dealing with text, how to make, you know, text look like it's cut out of gold, things like that. And we would teach you how to do that. And then we would give away what are called Photoshop actions, which kind of do it for you. So that instead of having to go through all the steps I showed, you click a button and it does it all for you automatically. And we would give those away, and in exchange, we would get an email, which we could then use to market. And so that's been very effective for us as well. So any of those types of things where you do reviews can really build your list and get you get you making sales. And then we've got a whole nother chapter that we can get into. And this is something that we actually, for those of you who don't know, we were actually going to try and get Mike Stewart on the call today, on the radio today, because he's got a new product that touches another area of training and review videos that not a lot of people are doing, and that's with apps for your iPad, your iPhone, your Android products. Is there's not a lot of people doing trainings for these apps. And the big reason is it's not easy to do. In fact, in the old days, people used to literally put a camera over their shoulder, hold their phone up, and have the camera shoot the phone, and it was kind of awkward and strange. Well, if you know how to use some of the technology that's available now, you can record your phone screen, your iPad screen. You just have to know how to do it, and that's what Mike teaches. He teaches you how to record your electronic device's screen, and then how to find good apps to do reviews on, how to create the reviews, what should be included in the reviews, and then how to market those reviews afterwards, whether you want to, create a membership site and sell access to it, or use, put it on YouTube and get some of that YouTube money like some of these other folks are doing. But it's an entire market that's completely untapped at this point in time. And a lot of it is because of that technological barrier that was there that made it very difficult to do. Unfortunately, it's a lot better now. But Steve, have you seen a lot of review videos and or training videos on apps?
No, I haven't, but I would think that would, I haven't been looking for them, but I would think that would be a great way to monetize CPA way.
Oh yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, with some of those CPA things, they don't have a ton of apps in there, but for the ones that are in there, yeah, that's a great way to do that. So there's just a variety of different ways you can make money doing that.
Yeah.
My suggestion is, find a niche that you like. Find a product or an app that you like, and then teach people how to use that app. Do a review of it. Build an entire YouTube channel around that one app if you need to. Mm-hmm. All of those types of things can drive traffic, get you to build a list, and can actually make you sales. And by sales, you could be making money off the top on the sale of the app. You could be making money off the top by selling a training for it. I keep going back to iMovie, and the reason I do is because we have experience doing this with the desktop version of iMovie. But you could create an entire tutorial on how to use iMovie for your iPad, and then sell the PDF or sell the video trainings, and people will buy that because they want to learn how to do it. Fortunately, it isn't that difficult to do. And people will spend a few bucks to do that. And we've shown that time and time again. And now I think this is just a whole new world that is opening up so that we can do this. Now, Steve, what do you think? What fancies you when it comes to creating tutorials or review videos? What would you like to review?
Well, I watch a lot of the open box videos, just when I'm kind of grazing on the internet, because I knew where they were there and they were fun to watch. And I really don't do anything with them. It's just kind of cool to see what's going on. And a lot of what I do with these things is you'll mention something and I'll go watch it just so I know what it is. It's like when Periscope first came out. I was watching all your I'd get involved in every Periscope just so I knew what a Periscope was. Apps. Now, here's the thing. I hadn't thought of that, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. However, I do this weekly show with you, so I'm sort of kind of up on what's going on. That would be something that would interest me for a couple reasons. A, my guess is there's not a ton of people doing it. And B, apps are fun. I mean, I love apps. I love downloading apps and playing with them. And, I go for the free apps mostly, but I love downloading and playing with them and figuring them out and doing stuff with them and, all that kind of thing. So I think apps could be pretty cool. And, even those free apps out there, you can get 50 cents a sale. I mean, you do enough of those and.
Oh, sure. And there's definitely that. But to me, I think the real big market with that is in the training portion of it.
Yeah.
If you can if you can get a more serious app and train people how to use it, I think that's where you can really start to rake in some money with that. And of course you can make a little bit on the sale of that app at the same time, perhaps. But and let's be completely honest here. It's not that easy to make money from the sale of apps for a third party.
Yeah.
Apple, for instance, does have an affiliate program, but you don't get a whole lot out of that. It's not a huge money maker unless you're getting millions of people to download from your link. You're talking about pennies, but it's certainly it adds up. If you do that and you sell a training course on something and you have it on YouTube and are making some ad revenue there, you can start to build money that way.
And a list.
Yeah, and of course you've got a list, so you can sell them similar products down the road. Especially you talk about iMovie. There's a lot of support apps for iMovie with extra backgrounds and animation techniques, and a lot of different things like that you can also sell to people on top of just iMovie itself. So you can start to really build a long-term business out of this one thing. In my case with the old iMovie, which sadly is vastly out of date, because I think, what is it? It's 2016 now. And I do believe those training videos were made in about 2008. And still to this day, I get people on my list from those videos. I get people asking me questions from those videos. So they're still making me a little bit of money years later, even though I've never updated them. And iMovie is way different now than it was in 2008. It looks completely different and functions different. And yet we still to this day get people that are opting into the list from those videos.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Yeah. So, they have legs and you build that momentum over time. So yeah, the big thing is not going to be the sale of the app. It's going to be the AdSense. It's building the list. I don't know if you can get some endorsements, I suppose, too. I would think the list would be the big deal.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, let's not. People ask all the time, what business are you in? To me, the answer always is collecting people. And it's not just for me. I think that everybody needs to be that's everybody's business. If you're a plumber, your real job is collecting people. Because you need to have somebody your service happens to be plumbing, but your business is collecting people in your area that need plumbing. And by having contact with them when they need plumbing, they'll come to you. When you have a special, you can go to them. So everything in a business needs to be about collecting names and numbers and emails. And if you do that, you can have quite a business. Unfortunately, most people don't do that off the bat. I didn't. I didn't understand the whole deal of a list. I would sell products and be like, yes, I made $200. That's awesome. But I didn't really collect the list off of it. And even some bigger name marketers that I talk to, they aren't doing it to this day. They've just never really gotten into the whole list building deal. And man, I'll tell you, it's so important. It is so vastly important, no matter what business you are in, to build a list of your customers or potential customers or just people interested in your niche that could become customers.
It's easy to do. I mean, AWeber makes it so dang easy.
I know we're going back to a plug on AWeber. Yeah. AWeber.
Shameless plug.
No, I mean, honestly, it is. It's a very easy program to use, but there's a ton of different programs out there to do that with. There's AWeber, there's GetResponse, there's iContact and Constant Contact and SendLane and MailChimp. I mean, there's just a bunch of them out there that you can do this with. If you've got a fairly smaller business, you could even start with MailChimp. It's free. Mm-hmm. It gets expensive if you start to really build a list, but it's free to get started at least, and it can definitely get you going.
Albeit, if you go to raythevideoguy.com/AWeber, you can try it for the first month for $1.
That's right. Another shameless plug. Well, but it is totally true. Building a list is the most important thing you can do, and by providing free product, you can definitely do that. I've seen huge success doing just that. Reviewing graphics and giving them away, reviewing iMovie with free tutorials, giving free tutorials on Photoshop. All of these things will help you to build a business, help you to build a list, and help you to sell more products. Mm-hmm. And maybe we should take one step back here a little bit, Steve, and kind of talk about this, because I think there's a few different methods that we can go about doing this with. In the case of my iMovie method on the desktop, what we did was we actually created a series of training videos, put them on YouTube completely free of charge. So we weren't selling anything. We were just letting you go in there and watch the iMovie tutorials and then giving you away a product in the end. Mm-hmm. So that's one way you can definitely do that. And then on top of that, the opposite direction you could go is, in the case of, for instance, my graphics stuff, I would review graphics, give away the graphic, and collect the lead that way. Mm-hmm. So there's a variety of different things you can do. And in the in those two cases, you're talking about just putting videos out there, ranking the videos, and or running ads through YouTube to get people to there, and you can build a list very quickly that way. We've done tutorials on, we've broken the mold on this, and we've done tutorials on magic tricks.
Yeah.
Giving away free tutorials on how to do, or excuse me, using video to show people how to do them. Now, let me change that again. To show people and demonstrate a magic trick, then sell them on the back end with the trick on how to do it. So there's a ton of different ways you can skin a cat with this. In my normal everyday business, we review a product and we make a commission on sales.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's something that can really add up very, very quickly if you get out there and do it. And all it takes in those cases is a software like ScreenFlow or Camtasia,
Mm-hmm.
a copy of the product, and a good attitude. Everything takes a good attitude, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And there's so many free apps out there.
Cam Studio. Yeah, there's other ways to do it. Even believe it or not, and we don't talk a lot about it, but our free video editor that we give away
Mm-hmm.
has a screen recording tool built in.
Freevideoeditor.co.
Correct. So that actually does have. Is it the greatest, screen capture tool in the world? No, it's not. I'll be completely honest, but it does have that in there. It's got a lot of other great tools, and it makes up for it. But if you're on the Mac, ScreenFlow is a fantastic program for that.
Mm-hmm.
Camtasia is a really good program, especially on the PC.
Is.
The Mac version of Camtasia is okay. I kind of think they've given up.
ScreenFlow is dominating the market, huh?
Yes, I think the Camtasia guys have realized they're just not going to compete there as well. So they do updates, but the PC version of Camtasia is more up to date and whatnot. But that's all it really requires are those types of software, and then the attitude and the product that you want to sell. Now, when it comes to the apps, you need to have other different tools and software in order to record your screen. So Reflector app, ScreenFlow actually has some of that built in, so you can actually record your iPhone and iPad on ScreenFlow. So there are ways to do that. You do have to go through some of the technological hurdles, which is why that market is so open right now. But it's definitely a market that you can tap into and you can make a good living out of. So Steve, how are you going to make your living? Are you going to switch over to doing this immediately?
I'm interested in it. Now, I mean, for the purposes of this show, I would say, yeah, but I think, yeah. If I were to be real hypey, I would say, darn right, Ray. But it does interest me, and I think the key is when you say have a good attitude about something. Are you passionate about it? Are you really interested in it? Is it fun for you? And that's why I'm intrigued by this.
Well, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. The passion is something that you have to really be able to put out there. For instance, there are a lot of really great products that I will review, and some of them I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. Some of them are great products, but maybe I'm just not as passionate about it. And I can see the difference when I'm really excited about a product. I can see the difference in that. Videos, we've sold a ton of them, and it's a pretty high price point product, and we've sold a ton of them because it's an awesome product. I'm excited. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'm really excited about it, and I think that comes across. Now, when somebody comes out with another really good collection of whiteboard graphics for Explaindio, they're fantastic, but that's not my passion. So do I review them? Yes. Do I tell you how they are great? Yes. But am I passionate about making whiteboard videos? Not as much.
Yeah.
So and I think that comes across. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just shows that
you're not saying whiteboard videos suck. What you're saying is you're just not as passionate about it as you are with other things, and it comes through. Yeah.
I think it, and I definitely think it does. Now that doesn't mean, I don't want anybody to be fooled into this. I'm not saying that you need to review something that isn't good and say it's good. That's certainly not the case. But it certainly is going to be the case that, for instance, there might be a Windows PC that's really cool, and I might be able to tell you, yeah, this is a great Windows PC or whatever. But I don't like Windows PCs, so there's going to be no passion in there. Does that mean that the product is terrible and I'm lying to you? No, it just means, yeah, it's a great product, but it's just not something that I'm overly excited about.
Is anybody passionate about Windows?
You'd be surprised. I do know a few.
Yeah, and this coming from a guy that pretty much knows Windows inside and out, and my wife's got a Mac, and if she's got any problems, we call Dean, the guy that the tech guy from Mac in town. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to know.
No, well, yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? There's only so many hours in a day. You can't.
That's right.
My wife and my mother will call me and ask me tech questions about the Mac and everything else, and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. I just use mine. I don't.
Yeah. My wife won't talk to me at all, so you're doing a lot better.
Well, I can't say I blame her for that. See, now you can do a tutorial about that.
Take my wife.
Of how to get your wife to talk to you.
That's right. Honey, here's some chocolates.
That's meant to be funny and a joke, but the reality is that if that's your passion, there are products out there specifically for those types of things, and there's nothing wrong with doing reviews and insider sneak peeks of those types of products. ClickBank is filled with get your X back products, things like that. If you're passionate about dieting, you could do dieting videos. You could do cooking videos. You could, set a camera up in your kitchen, show them how to cook something that's good for them. And people will respond to that. If you're into exercise, show off your training routine. Show, hey, here's a schedule for you. Monday, do shoulders and back, and here's the exercises you want to do. And show them how to do the exercises. Mm-hmm. All of those things can be put on YouTube and either used directly to get ads. They could be used in conjunction with, an exercise company or a diet company. You could put just samples on there and then sell the videos, the full training pack. There are so many ways that you could do this, and it's really exciting. And I hope that you understand this is one of the things that I do have passion about, because I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales come through just doing this very thing, reviewing products, making videos about them, and then getting them out to an audience. And right now is absolutely the best time to do that, because we've never had an opportunity where we could send out products as easily as we can these days. Simple downloads. It's funny when we talk about the passion with this. Back in the old days, there was a guy on the radio the other day, and I'm not even sure, I can't recall what the actual radio show was even about. But I was listening to it was a podcast actually, and the guy was talking about how in the old days, long before podcasting and things like that existed, he would record quote unquote podcasts on cassette tape and mail them out to people.
I remember those days.
So,
sure.
I mean, if you could do that back then, imagine what you can do right now. Mm-hmm. Being able to do this so quickly, so easily, even live. I mean, one thing we haven't brought up, what about open box videos on Periscope, on Meerkat, on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Facebook is rolling out the Facebook Live stuff to everybody now, so you should have that. If you've got the latest version of your Facebook app and whatnot, you should be able to do Facebook Live now. And on top of that, there is a new one directly with YouTube that's put out by the guys who make Wirecast called Wirecast Go. So you can do live videos right off your phone on YouTube as well now. So imagine doing open box videos and trainings that way. Fantastic.
Now, has the Facebook Live video come out for Droids yet?
That I'm not sure of.
I don't think it has. It's any time now. And so that's why I sort of asked that question with a big question mark, because it's supposed to be any time. And as of last weekend, it had not been released because I was looking. So
yeah, I'm so
behind the times because I'm Droid and Windows. But anyhow.
Well, you know, as far as the Facebook Live goes, as of today is the first day that I've seen it on my phone. So I literally just got it, but it is it's rolling out there, and it may be because I hadn't done the latest update for a week or so, but I did notice that it was there today. So there's a lot of possibility there. You know, imagine before, you know, think about this. We used to talk about some of these online news sites, like, for instance, when the Drudge Report reported on some of the Clinton things. And it was this amazing thing because a website had totally scooped all the news organizations.
That's right.
Well, then when Michael Jackson died, they talked about how Twitter had scooped all the online sites and all the TV sites.
Yeah.
And the same goes with this now, because before, if you wanted to do a review of something, you would create a review, and maybe you did it for a magazine and it would come on a disc on the magazine. You'd have to wait a couple weeks for the magazine to come out, and then you could watch a little video on a disc. Well, then we had the internet the way it is now, and people could create a video, upload it to YouTube, and you'd have a review in a couple hours. Well, now you got Periscope and YouTube Go and or Wirecast Go and Facebook Live and Meerkat. You could literally shoot and upload at the exact same time with no delay whatsoever on a review of a new product. Imagine being the first person in line at the Apple Store and periscoping that open box.
Yeah.
I mean, there are just so many possibilities, and things are changing so fast. There are opportunities at every corner. And, you know, I tend to get into arguments on Facebook quite a bit about things. And I do? Yes, it's shocking, isn't it?
I've never noticed.
But I saw recently, again, where people were posting about how, oh, you know, the world is a terrible place, and, you know, there's no opportunities, and you got to be a doctor, and you got to be a CEO to make money, and blah, blah, blah. You know, and no offense, but that is such nonsense.
Oh, of course it is.
There is money everywhere. There is opportunity everywhere. You just need to go and get it. You know, the old adage used to be, what is it? It's you know, success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Mm-hmm. And that is completely true, because for most people, they don't take any action. And the people that, do you think this 8-year-old who made $1.3 million, how much effort did he have to put in to review, the latest Play-Doh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It had nothing to do with hard work. It had to do with doing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem we have. But right now, you've got opportunities everywhere. And all you have to do is pick up your phone, pick up your camera, whatever it happens to be, go out there and do it. And believe me, you can see a huge difference. I know. I've done it. I a couple years ago, I had never done any of this stuff, and now, quite frankly, there's not a doctor or a lawyer that I would want to change paychecks with.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, no, and I'm not trying to brag or show off or anything like that, but that's just the truth.
Nor would you want their lifestyle.
No, I would not. Or their work schedule.
Well, but think about it. Right now, with the opportunities that are available for internet marketing, you know, we've been talking about YouTube, Facebook video, apps for iPhones and Androids, Periscope. Think about all this stuff. This is affiliate marketing. You can sell stuff on the internet like Ray does. When I was in college 40 years ago, I'm dating myself. That stuff wasn't out there, and all I ever wanted to do was be on the radio, pull an air shift, and do production. You know, do commercials for businesses that didn't have an agency. You know, that wanted the radio station to do it. That's all I ever wanted to do. It's the saying still goes, and I worked my way through college working at a radio station. And I realized, boy, if wife and kids, I'm not going to be able to support myself. I got to figure something else out. You know what? I figured something else out. It wasn't my first choice, but I got in the direct mail business and made a darn good living at it for 30 years. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's opportunities out there. Just go do it. And I was a classic underachiever in high school and in college. It wasn't like I was the valedictorian or anything like that. But I got into direct mail because I was interested in the manufacturing process. So there's printing and letter shop operations, and I was interested in direct marketing. And next thing I know, I'm making a pretty darn good living doing it. But you know what I'm trying to say is I went after stuff I was interested in. Okay, it wasn't my first love. I couldn't make I couldn't make the money that I needed to make and have a family. But if you just do something. And we were making fun of Bernie Sanders before, and justifiably so. I mean, guy didn't have a job till he was 40. What the heck is that about?
Well, and that's not totally true. He kind of did. He was.
I know. I'm being a Weisenheimer, noted German.
But the point is, anybody can do this. Believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say too. And this stuff. If again, you're listening to this show or you're watching the Hangout because you're interested in this stuff. There's something about it that trips your trigger, and so. Ray's giving you some ideas on things that you can do. The fact that you're listening to or watching the Hangout or listening to the podcast means this stuff trips your trigger. So go out and do it.
Absolutely. Again, 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. So go get out there and take action with anything.
With anything. Yeah, I had a boss that used to say 90% is just showing up, and
you know what? And that's probably even more appropriate than the quote that I used.
Yeah. I used to just get on a plane and go see people. That's how I made sales. I just get out there and see them. Hey, you want to buy some direct mail? No, well, it's a little more than that. But you know what I'm saying?
It is because people can sell when we're talking about selling apps and things like that. Yes, you can do it. You could just put it out there and sell it and whatnot. But when you put your face out there, when you put your reviews out there, when you really get your voice into it and everything, it makes a huge difference. I test this all the time. Mm-hmm. Mailing out a product, then mailing out a product with a video showing you the product, and it blows the doors off.
That's right.
It absolutely does. And, a good example, I'm working with a partner on some real estate related stuff. And one thing that we need to do is a lot of Facebook ads. And he and I both know we're not, he's definitely not an expert in Facebook ads. I've done enough Facebook ads to know that we probably should get an expert at Facebook ads. And so when we went to find one, we found a guy, literally, and we found a couple companies. Well, I knew who I wanted to go with just because I'd been recommended to the guy. But my partner in this, he absolutely wanted to go with the guy, and it had nothing to do with recommendations or anything like that. It had to do with the fact that he wasn't dealing with a company. He was dealing with a person who was actually talking to him, who was actually telling him, not just reading it on a website or anything like that. And that's the reason he wanted to go with this one guy. Mm-hmm. It makes a big difference. So it's all about, the most effective marketing in the world, even now, after all these years, is face-to-face marketing. Mm-hmm. And the internet allows you to go back to that type of marketing, which we haven't seen in 40 years. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that's how people did business. Then television came along. It became a lot less personal. Well, now we can be personal from thousands of miles away. And it brings us back to that type of marketing and showing people, getting items in front of people, showing them what's in there makes a huge difference. And if you do that, you can sell your products. You can sell others' products. You can just get viewers. You can build lists. You can do all of that stuff. And it works extremely well.
It's an exciting time.
It is.
Well, I think we nailed it. Did we cover everything we needed to cover?
I think so. In fact, we probably talked way too much about this, but it's just, as we said, it's passion. It's an exciting field and something that everybody can get into.
It's fun to talk about. And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Today's show made possible by
AWeber, the easy way to do your email marketing. Build lists, send out newsletters, do all of your email marketing with AWeber. You can try it out now for a month at only $1 by heading on over to raythevideoguy.com/AWeber.
Facebook page, Video Marketing Madness. Twitter, it's Video MKT Madness. I post a lot of useful tips there every day. I got a vault of useful tips that I pay attention to and put in that vault and then post it. And it's, I think I've built it up to like 250 useful tips that I can use.
Good.
I'm thinking, yeah, everybody's
We love
wow,
that
that's cool. That's cool, Steve. You must be really anal retentive. All right. Why don't we end the show with a jingle?
Let's do it. All right. There's the jingle. Not really.
There's the jingle. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the hangout.